Hello, I'm Simulator Dirk and welcome back to American Truck Simulator. We are in America, we are in San Diego, and we are just about to start this trip off to Texas. So let's get in the cab.
The American people are counting on you to drive. Let's go.
Alright, so let's get in the cab. Let's say good morning to Mr. Morgan Freeman. Or actually, good afternoon to Mr. Morgan Freeman. And let's go. Now, we've had a great deal of changes since our previous American Truck Simulator episode. Since then, I've been to Australia. Well, in real life, I'm Australian, and in American Truck Simulator life, I've just recorded 15 episodes on an Australian map that we'll be seeing after we make this delivery. So we're going to make this delivery. Might take us a couple of episodes to get there. We're in a Mack. And we're going to be starting our trip out of the Walmart. One of many mods that I've got installed, which shows us real places rather than just So there we go, we're just leaving the Walmart, just getting some screen art here with our oversized load. So there's been lots of changes since the last episode.
In 400 meters, turn left.
Okay, of course we welcome back the voice of Mr. Morgan Freeman, our navigator. Thank you. So one of the most notable changes that you'll note is the new display that you can see at the top of the screen, and that's called Yet Another Route Advisor.
Keep right, and then exit right.
Oh, that seems like a waste. We just got on here for 2.5 milliseconds and now we're leaving.
Exit right.
But it is another interstate that we're going onto, so it's not as if it's an actual exit onto like a normal road or anything. We're going onto another interstate. So Yet Another Route Advisor, it's a mod from the workshop, Steam Workshop, and it shows us all of the relevant information, but it shows it at the top of the screen. You can see that we're almost fully fueled up. No damage to the truck. It's Tuesday afternoon at 2:04 p.m. Our fatigue is fine because our eye is completely white. There's no redness there. Below that, we can see that we have 1,170 miles to go. And we have almost 20 hours of driving time. Next to that, in the middle, we have the gear that we're in. So we're in an automatic, so we are in 17th gear. 53, 52 miles an hour is our truck speed. That's dropped to 44 as I have slowed down to get behind that truck instead of trying cutting him off. stupid old mate ran up my backside and I get busted for it. So we're current road speed of 49 miles an hour. The speed limit's next to that, it's 55. Now above that on the right hand side, you'll see how much money we've got, and we've got a lot. It's because I'm using a cheat engine, if you like, called WeMod. So I can afford to go out and do some of the things that we'll be doing in future episodes. And below that is our current ETA, estimated time of arrival, around about 10 AM on Wednesday. Having said that, we can't drive all of the 19.25 hours all in one hit.
Keep left.
So we have to go to the weigh station. So there's new icons on the map. So we've been called into the weigh station. Vehicle gross weight, 53,000 pounds. We passed, we're all good. So you'll see some of those, you see the speed change. 15 mile an hour limit at the moment. Once we get back onto the interstate, that will change. And once you go over the speed limit, like I did very briefly, the middle panel actually lights up red. Actually, this panel is so good, it should be default. It should be the default route navigation. It just looks so much neater. Additionally, we do have the option of the map. The map is on the dash, and there's also one down the bottom right hand corner of the screen. And it doesn't have all the information that was on the other version, on the original version. All the information you need to know is at the top of the screen, but also that map box is transparent. You can see through it. For instance, you can see the yellow parking brake button. You can see that there, so that's cool. And so I'm really happy with the new route advisor that I've got here. Apparently there is also a Euro truck version of that as well. So I mentioned about having $4.7 million in the bank because we want to be able to buy trucks and do other things, buy garages and that sort of thing, and it's very hard when you're going job to job like this. So it will actually help me play for longer. So I think that that's not necessarily a bad option. So what I've done on the Australian map, for instance, in a week's gameplay in Australia over 15 episodes that you'll see coming up right here, I went from one truck going from job to job on quick jobs like I'm doing now, or a 20-hour job to Texas. Really isn't a quick job, but you get the idea. So you don't own the truck, you don't own the trailer, but all the expenses are covered for you. So tolls, fines, petrol, all that sort of stuff's covered. in a week on the Australia map, I have 5 garages, or if you prefer, depots. I have 25 trucks, and I have 25 drivers, including me. Now, until I actually had a look at some video, I thought that what I needed to do was actually buy trailers and all that sort of stuff. Yes, I have to buy, to use the Australian example, yes, I do have to buy 25 trucks, but the trailers I don't need to purchase unless I want to drive trailers exclusively to me, exclusively for me. Say, for instance, I've got a few petrol tankers, and I've got some taut liners, some taut liners, so that's cool. And so what you can do, you can either choose to just use your own tractor trailer, to use the American term, you know, use your own tractor to pick up the loads and and use their trailers, or we use our own trailers and our own truck on the cargo market. You use their trailers on the freight market. So we'll get to Texas, won't be on this episode. We'll probably get halfway to Texas, I guess. So it may take us 2 or 3 episodes to get to Texas, but after that, well, I'm going to go truck hunting and I'm going to go garage searching, but it also depends on what I find. In many respects, I have to start again on this profile because I had a fresh install on the computer. So, but there's a lot more DLC, there's a lot more states now that I can visit from the last time that I purchased or that I was playing American Truck Simulator. We'll also, so apart from the Australia map, which I've been really enjoying, being Australian, I've got right-hand drive truck, which took me a few episodes to find a good right-handed truck, as Australia drives on the left-hand side of the road with a right-hand drive truck, so totally the opposite to America. Australians, for instance, on the whole, a lot of them love driving Kenworths, the truckies, but unless you modify them or find a mod somehow, because the Australian map uses the American map as a taking off point, if you like, well then, so you can use all of the American trucks in Australia, but unless you find a way to modify them or find a modded truck, well then you're stuck with a left-hand drive truck for a while, which is what happened to me. But there's a lot of outback desert driving. Think about driving through the most remote areas of Arizona or Nevada, but you're not on the interstate, you're on dirt roads. Speaking of Arizona, we are now in Arizona. So welcome to Arizona. So the Australian map is based on the US map, and that's really cool. There's a new version of the map coming out soon, so I'm looking forward to see how that's extended. In other map news around my Truck Simulator world, I've downloaded the new versions of the Japan and Middle Eastern maps that uses Euro Truck Simulator as its base. We're 188 miles from Phoenix. So we're on a 75 mile an hour limit now. So you'll see episodes coming up soon. I haven't recorded them yet, of maps from the Middle East and also from Japan. I'll be also starting up Euro Truck Simulator again, and I'm also going to start up one which is specific to the UK, called UK Truck Simulator. Funny that. That's also based on the Euro Truck Simulator base map. There's a lot of map mods in there from pro mods in relation to the Middle East and Europe, and also the UK and the Japan map from Project Japan. And now we're going to have some big changes once we deliver this load. I'll be changing the way that I play, or that I use American Truck Simulator. I'll be buying my own truck. I'll be using a truck that I've actually purchased. Buying my own trailers. Leveling up, I think I'm about level 12 at the moment on the US map that we're on. On the Australian map, I'm level 25. I calculated that within the last week, I've played about 35-ish hours of the Australian map, not including the time that I spent installing it, looking for mods and all that sort of thing. So it's well and truly over a normal work week by the time I consider all that. I actually have done this trip in a car, but in the reverse direction. When I was in America in 2009, my first American trip, I hired a car, drove around the US for 3 months, basically did a massive circle. Started in LA, went up through the West Coast, California, into San Francisco, into Portland, Oregon, through Washington State, into Canada. Almost got arrested entering Canada. That's another story for another time. And then I went east a bit, entering the US in a one-horse border town, basically, through Idaho, the northern part, eventually over to Chicago, Washington State, sorry, not Washington State, New York State, into New York City, down through DC and the Baltimore area, through the Great South, and eventually into Texas, and basically going the way that we're going now, but might not be this exact interstate. I did do a detour via Vegas on the way home. I was feeling a bit crook, but on the way back, it had been a long trip, that's for sure. 3 months, and driving around America for the first time, when I hadn't done that much driving in Australia in comparison. Like, there were specific times that I wanted to be in certain places, like I had events on or whatever, but the rest of them I just like drive for 12 hours or so, 10 to 12 hours, and I get up in the morning, drive 10 to 12 hours, find a hotel for the night, get up, go again. And you know, I spent some decent time in Chicago, for instance. Portland, Oregon was a highlight. San Luis Obispo, California. San Francisco. Spent some time in New York City, Baltimore. Driving through places like Arkansas on the way back. Mississippi, I think. Yeah, we got some roadworks coming up. Roadworks, and they dropped the speed limit to 55 miles an hour. Old mate in the green trucks just squeezed his way in the car carrier. So I'm really looking forward to making this delivery and doing things a little bit differently. I'm going to start off the driving career, set up my depot network, and then I'm going to head off to Japan, I think. So, what? They want my headlight on now. Still night time. It's still daytime. Headlights are on, I think. They're probably thinking, why is this guy driving so slow? I'm used to driving through roadworks zones at 40 kilometres an hour, and here I am, I can go up to 55. And now I can go up to 75 miles an hour. So make this delivery one episode with the new format, or so I should say one delivery with the new format, then we'll go to Japan for a bit.
Continue straight.
So there's a road to Phoenix. Now I haven't looked at the map to see exactly where we go through, but I remember driving through Phoenix, and boy, it was hot. Oh, this whole trip, or this whole southern part of the trip, I think I came back on I-10. And I can remember, now I try not to talk about current world events like COVIDs, world wars, all that sort of stuff. But I can remember in 2009 wanting to enter Mexico, if only for the day. And I was going to do it somewhere on the way back from New York when I was coming back via the south. So even if it was, I think the ideal place would have been Mexicali or Calexico, California or Mexico respectively. But that's what I wanted to do. But when I was in New York, they were starting to get reports of bird flu, which I think from memory was H1N1.
Keep right.
We're going towards Tucson, are we? So it was advised for people not to head into Mexico. So needless to say, keep left. So I didn't go into Mexico on that trip. You know, it's a sort of similar thing to COVID-19, but nowhere near as bad as what COVID-19 has been and still is. But it was, you know, watching the American media at the time, and I'm like, okay, well, let's throw Mexico off the list. They didn't really say don't go anywhere else. The main thing that they were concerned about was people going into Mexico, catching something there, and coming back. So we've still got 800 miles to drive, 837 miles to drive, 14 hours of driving time. Now we did pick up the load in the afternoon. So we're on Interstate 10 now. But speaking of Mexico, there are maps that will take you into Mexico. I haven't got any of those installed yet. I've left America pretty vanilla in the maps department for the moment. But on a previous episode or two, we did actually go into Mexico. Now, I remember when I was on Amtrak in 2013, I was getting a train from. No, we're not going off here, Mr. Morgan Freeman.
Keep left.
Thank you. 2013, I wanted to go from LA across the bottom of America on Amtrak and then end up in Miami, going on the cruise ship that was part of 70,000 Tons of Metal, a heavy metal music festival held on a cruise ship. And so I wanted to go across. I'd driven across America on the first trip. I caught the train across America in the second trip, and in the third trip, we're just about to go through or around Tucson.
Keep left.
Keep left, thank you. So on the second trip I caught the train a lot, and on the third one I flew a lot. So but the interesting thing was, there was a section between New Orleans and Miami on the 2013 trip that I
Keep left.
couldn't actually catch the train on because the train line was still closed from when Hurricane Katrina struck in, from memory, 2007 or 2009, and it was still closed in 2013. So to complete the trip by train from New Orleans to Miami, I actually had to go up into Tucson Discovered. I actually had to go to Washington DC and then back down to Miami that way. So basically added 24 hours to the trip, but then again, I'm a train head. You know that if you've seen some other episodes, some Train Simulator episodes, so that was no big drama. But it was just amazing that line was, and there wasn't even any substitute bus service offered or a coach service offered. It was, okay, If you want to get a train from New Orleans to Miami, you have to go via DC. That was the only. That was the. We've got some more roadwork. That was the given option. But I did enjoy that trip. But one of the things that I remember from that trip was coming into El Paso, Texas. Now, our carriage attendant on the Amtrak train, his name was Henry Ford, and he was an absolutely awesome guy, both face to face and also over the PA system. Now, so we were coming into El Paso, and you could actually see the security fence. You could actually see the security fence of the border between the US and Mexico from the train as well coming into El Paso. So I won't quote him directly, but what Henry was basically saying was, okay guys, you see that big fence over there? Beyond that big fence is Mexico. We'll soon be arriving into El Paso, Texas. And we will be in El Paso for about 30 minutes and 30 minutes only. You will not have enough time to leave the train, cross the border into Mexico, and come back onto the train in the half an hour that we're at El Paso. If you ignore my advice and try and get into Mexico while we're at El Paso for 30 minutes, and you miss the train, and you probably will, you will have to book yourself onto the next service in about 3 days' time, and Amtrak won't be responsible for any additional charges. So the message from Henry Ford was received loud and clear by me, definitely. I still remember it over 10 years later. And I don't know if anyone on that particular trip did or not. But having said that, obviously people have tried that before and failed. Hence the warning. You know, there's always a warning for a reason, there's always a sign for a reason, and obviously people have tried it in the past. Now, of course, if you really wanted to do that, you could actually book yourself a ticket to El Paso, and because that was probably the most convenient station to do it on the route. Spend a couple of days in Mexico, then catch the back to El Paso, catch the next train, and you're all good. So I did actually go to Mexico twice. 2013 was part of, if I remember, was after 70,000 tons of metal. And I just took a few days. I went to Mexico. I was hoping to see a lady friend. That didn't eventuate. Spent about a week in Mexico, and I stayed at the Hilton, and I thought, I want somewhere excellent in Mexico. I'd just been on this ship for like 4 days. Took a couple of days to recover. Mexico City was mostly good. And then the next year, on 70,000 tons of metal, we actually had a seaport in Mexico. I know the first year it was, I think it was Turk Caicos Islands for 70,000 tons of metal. And if you're into heavy metal, I know there's a few different cruises around that run, but 70,000 tons of metal started quite a few years ago now. As I said, I can remember doing it in 2013, 2014, and So at that time, when I went, there were 40 bands, 4 days, 5 nights, I think, or the other way around. So you'd start off in Miami, you'd head to an island destination, you'd have a day in port, and then you'd come back. Then you'd come back to Miami, and yeah, that was lots of fun. The first band would start each day at about 10 o'clock in the morning. I think there were 4 different performing areas, including on the main pool deck. They had 2 pools. They actually emptied one of the pools, put temporary flooring over it, and a concert stage on top of that. And then they had, bands performing out there. I can remember. We're just entering New Mexico. We should probably find a rest area soon. Dust storms warning, 0 visibility possible. So I can remember this one particular day, so as I was saying, the first band would start about 10 a.m. The last band would finish at about 5 a.m. And then, you go to sleep, and each band would perform twice. And they'd hang out on the ship, they wouldn't lock themselves away in the room. They had other activities as well. And it was a great deal of fun, and I can remember hearing about the first time that that 70,000 tons of metal ran, and it was basically a private hire. I can bypass the way station, thank you. The cruise company basically wanted nothing to do with the cruise, except they were quite happy to take the money, but they didn't want the promoters to promote the cruise ship or anything, because they basically had no idea, and this is a bit of the heavy metal stereotype, they didn't know in what condition they were going to receive the ship back in, if at all. So think about 3,000 metalheads heading off to somewhere like the Caribbean, lots of alcohol and lots of music, that sort of stuff. You're in international waters, people from all over the world. It was like the United Nations, and they had for the first cruise, they had grossly underestimated how much alcohol they'd need. They'd figured out basically how much alcohol would be consumed on a normal cruise, and from what I understand, they basically ordered that amount. They were soon to learn that what most people would, on a regular cruise, would consume in alcohol in, say, a 5-day cruise, metalheads on 70,000 tons of metal would consume that in a day. So they learn in future trips to order a lot more alcohol. They actually, on their very first trip, they had to put out a phone, make a phone call to the port in Mexico where they were going for the port day, and they basically had to order. I'm going to rest here. They basically had to order more alcohol because otherwise they'd be afraid, they'd be scared that there'd be a riot. if there was not enough alcohol for the trip on the way back. So they like,
Continue straight.
I'm going to have a sleep, Morgs. So they basically learnt that, you know, how much alcohol people drink on a heavy metal cruise. And so they learnt from that experience. It's alright, I'm going to sleep. It's almost 1:30 Wednesday morning. So that, yeah, they realised how much...
Make a U-turn. Let's keep our enemies guessing.
Going to sleep.
Make a U-turn. Let's keep our enemies guessing. Make a U-turn. Let's keep our enemies guessing. Make a U-turn. Let's keep our enemies guessing.
So yeah, they really underestimated the amount of alcohol that people were going to consume. But
Make a U-turn.
so the cruise company saw how well behaved actually people on the cruise were. Oh, the rest area is over there, is it? Okay. We'll head over there in a moment. They learnt how enthusiastic the people were, and all they wanted to do was just sit around the pool, listen to the music, watch the bands, and go from there. That's all they really wanted to do. I'm just going to turn the truck around so we don't have to do it in the morning. So we'll have a sleep here. I should really do a better job of parking the truck. There we go. Right, we're going to stop the engine. We're going to have a sleep. It's 1:30 a.m. Wednesday. We're getting some sleep. And we're up again. So it's Wednesday morning at 11:34. Time to get back on the road after our sleep. 9 hours and 44 minutes of driving time remaining, so we should be able to knock that over.
In 400 meters, turn left. Turn left.
So we should be able to knock that over. So our, whoops, just went a bit wide. ETA Wednesday night at 9:18. So if we quickly have a look at our next rest stop in just under 14 hours. So yeah, we're good. Industrial pallets heading to Albion Coca-Cola.
In 400 meters, turn right.
So our next rest stop in
Turn right.
14 hours. So we'll be able to knock this over without needing to have another rest stop. So one thing, as I was saying, the cruise company, what they learn is that people want to go on the ship, they want to have a good time, they'll enjoy going to port, and then they come back, they have a good time, you know, meet people from all over the world and just basically have some fun. The staff ended up loving the cruise as well, because they found that regular cruise passengers can be very demanding. You know, you're on maybe a trip of a lifetime, maybe you one and only cruise. You expect top-notch service, you expect them to wait on your hand and foot, that sort of thing. You know, you believe you're on a luxury cruise. You know, so they can be very demanding. Whereas metalheads, all they want, listen to the music, meet some people, have some fun, drink some alcohol, and headbang and achieve all of those sort of things, and they're sweet. You know, they're used to sweaty mosh pits and, you know, doing things on a budget and, you know, paying lots of money for, you know, top line artists and that sort of thing. But they just want to have a great time. So the cruise company changed their policy, and they actually allowed the promoters to use the ship in their advertising, use the company name in their advertising. It's Royal Caribbean, or if you're from another part of the world, the Royal Caribbean. So I was going to go, we're actually heading to El Paso. So in 2015 they upgraded, because they were on one of the smaller ships, because it's exclusively a cruise for, you know, it's not segregated, it's the whole ship is that cruise, 70,000 tons of metal. So they went up from a 3,000 capacity, and I think it was 4,000 or 5,000 was the next step up. So they did that in 2015, and I was going to go on that, and I'd actually booked and started paying for the trip, but my mum got sick and asked me not to travel, and so I haven't been overseas since 2014. So it's actually coming up. It's usually around February each year. Usually leaves from Miami, or it leaves from Fort Lauderdale. So it's quite a good time. The staff love it. They're very relaxed, and staff actually volunteer to actually work that cruise, because you can nominate which cruises you want to work, or basically when you want to work. And so apparently there's really strong competition amongst the staff, and you know, a lot of them want to work that cruise because everyone's just so happy, they're not demanding, and they say it makes a nice change from other cruises that they have during the year. So I don't think we're actually in. Oh, try that side down quick. There's more road work. Either road work. No, there might be an accident actually. Are we coming into... Yeah, we're coming into... Or are we leaving? Oh, there's an accident. Oh, we're leaving New Mexico. Now, in one of my videos in Euro Truck Simulator, I was actually very naughty and I snuck up past these barriers at an accident. So hopefully we'll just be able to go up and over and then on the other side. Hopefully we don't have to take a long detour. So I can see a truck there. Can't quite see. Is this the Texas border? I think it is. If I was a PayPal, I'd be turning these lights off and...
Continue straight.
Well, there's nobody here at the top to tell us that we can't... Oh, am I going to get caught for that? No, luckily. Oh, the Holiday Inn. The real life companies is working awesomely. I believe that was the Texas state border. Couldn't quite see the sign properly. There should be nobody coming up on my El Paso city limits. We're coming into El Paso, so keep a lookout. And that may even be the border fence. I don't think I could get into
Keep left.
Texas using vanilla. I think I could get there on a mod, but not. So there's a railway line down there. So we're passing through El Paso that we were talking about before, Mexico on the right hand side. As we know, Mexico's a big country and we're in Texas. That's a big state. So we've got 485 miles to go, 8 hours of driving time, and we're wholly within Texas. Which, as an Australian, it's a concept that I'm not unfamiliar with. And there's also bugger all people on the road. Oh, that's a nice old car there. Oh, I just saw a sign saying to Mexico. And that's really fascinating when you're close to, in this case, the Mexican border. Jerez, Mexico, there we go.
Keep left.
So if you're close to, in this case, the Mexican border, or if you're in America at the northern end, you're close to the Canadian border. I'm fascinated by these signs that say, we're heading to San Antonio, but I'm interested in signs that say, to Mexico or to Canada. Because in Australia it's just not a thing. Because we are girt by sea. Spent some time in San Antonio. Was nice. Bloody hot. But it was nice. Hit El Paso Airport. when you think about being in Europe and Euro Truck Simulator and how many countries, there's a Best Western over there, and a 76 gas station. It's amazing how many European countries you can drive through in an 8-hour period. And in this 8-hour period, I'll be totally within Mexico.
Keep left.
Not Mexico, in Texas. Why do I keep on getting Mexico and Texas confused? Seven hours of driving, so I'm expected now Wednesday at 10:15. Oh, 75 now. It must be because we're out of El Paso. Speed limit 80 for me as well, yep. Picnic area 1 mile, no restrooms. I'm sure if you're a guy and you really needed to, you'd go behind a tree. You'd find a gas station or a truck stop. It's one thing America's very good at gas stations and truck stops.
Keep left.
So because old mate in front was going so slow, I had to slow down. I wasn't going to run up his backside, and neither was I going to change lanes if I can avoid it. Has he got a cop in front of him? Is that the reason? All trucks must exit 3/4 of a mile when flashing, so that must be another way station. And each American state seems to have different ways of doing things. Inspection station 1/4 of a mile. Well, it's closed. So they've got the barriers across so we don't have to drop in. The automatic way station system didn't say to drop in or not. But Americans do that so well compared to Australia. Truck stops, rest areas, gas stations. You know, especially on this sort of route, you really need it. So just under 6 hours of driving now. I think I'm going to push on episode wise and just make this the one episode. Van Horn discovered, still heading towards San Antonio. Yep, that's a Flying J, another example of an American truck stop with a real name. It's a Goodyear trailer and a Kenworth trailer over there. Because the highway system over there and the interstate system's great for trucks. 337 miles, 5 hours 35 remaining. Old mate, can you drive any slower? Well, we must almost be in San Antonio, coming up to Dallas as well.
Keep left.
Keep left. Oh, we probably don't have to. Oh, yeah, probably should actually, just to be on the. Yeah, that was a good decision. So we're heading towards Dallas now. Under 5 hours of driving now. The time scale of the American map compared to the Australian map that I've been driving for the last week is a little different. So it's just after 5 p.m, coming up to 5:30 p.m. Been driving now. Well, we got back on the road just before lunchtime. We were going 69 miles an hour. Nice. But a test of a good simulator like this is, while I'm driving along, do I feel like I am driving in Texas? Is there enough localization to feel like I'm driving in Texas? And absolutely. You know, is the route 100% real life? I don't know, I can't say. Does it feel like I'm driving in Texas? Yeah. Just like the Australian map, I can't tell if that's 100% true to life, to real life, but I drive through it and I'm like, yeah, I can imagine myself driving in the outback, not necessarily in a truck because I can't drive a truck, but I can imagine myself being out there. And we've got another way station coming up. We'll see if we have to drop into this one. The last one was closed. That's probably the inspect. I can bypass the way station, thank you. In Australia, if the way stations are open and it's indicated by signs, if the weigh station's open, if you're over, if you're a heavy vehicle, you must drop in. And then when you pull off, it'll be a similar sort of system. It will say either report for inspection or return to, freeway, highway, motorway, whatever you're on. But in Australia, you must actually pull off unless the signs say that it's closed. Now, if they inspect you once you get in there, well, that's up to them. But you must actually pull off. You just can't zoom past unless the signs on the road say that it's closed, like we saw on the not that one, the one before. They had the barriers out to indicate that it was closed. So it's now 6:30. Time really zooms by an American Truck Simulator compared to an Australian Truck Simulator, the Australian map, because the time scales are different. So 3 hours of driving time to go. It'll be daylight for most of it. High speed interstate driving. Fatigue's not going to be an issue. Fuel shouldn't be an issue. Under 3 hours of driving now. The fuel's in the top left-hand corner. Got a couple of notches remaining. 166 miles. 2 hours 49 minutes. It's just before 7 p.m. Wednesday. ETA 9:45 on Wednesday. I really love that. That information on the top of the screen the way it is. We're coming up to the junction of I-20. Of course, in real life, you're not driving for 14 hours straight without even pulling off to refuel or anything like that. Speed limit 75, up we go. I forget the name of the town we're actually going to. The middle of winter would be a different thing. It obviously wouldn't be daylight. Although we are in the south, but I don't think we'd be in daylight in winter at 7:30. See, it's getting darker. We should turn our lights on for safety before we get pinged again. In bright daylight, and because it's 7:30, there you go. Headlight fans. 110 miles to go now. So we'd be averaging about 60 miles an hour. .90 miles, I think that was to Fort Worth, which is near Dallas. Noticeably darker now. Miles. .70 miles. Sun's almost, well, the sun's pretty much down now. It's not super dark yet, but definitely need headlights on. An hour's driving now. So the next episode is going to be very, very different indeed in terms of my strategy, and it's going to be very different owning my own truck and owning other trucks and seeing how many garages we can purchase. It's a BP truck. Oh, this is the Abilene, I think. Yeah, this is the this is where we're going. I'm pretty sure. .44 minutes now. Keep left, thank you, Morgan. So we're still heading towards Fort Worth and therefore Dallas. 69 miles an hour, nice. 28 minutes. Of course, as it won't be 28 minutes in real time.
Keep left. Keep right. And pin. Exit right.
Oh,
Exit right.
lost a bit of control there. Sorry, my dude. "12 minutes to go, 4 miles. We're almost there."
Keep left. And then turn left. Turn left.
Oh, hang on. That says turn around. And oh no. Am I going to be okay? Oh no. Oh no. Oh, hang on. I think Morgan's about to save me. Or is this the way we were supposed to go? I'm not sure, but
In 400 meters, turn right.
1 mile to go. Oh, there's a Dunkin'
Turn right.
Donuts. All thanks to mods. Oh, there's no way the speed limit's 75 here, by the way. We're in a suburban shopping centre car park. There's no way the speed limit's 75 miles an hour. Oh, there's another donut shop that isn't Dunkin' Donuts. Maybe it's Stan Makita Donuts from Wayne's World.
In 400 meters, turn right.
Oh, there's a KFC. Oh, get out.
Turn right.
Hang on, Morgan, just having a look at KFC. Did someone say KFC? Oi, your side of the road, buddy. There's a KFC. Oops. Did someone say KFC? I think Texas is
Continue
a
straight.
relatively new map. And we're off to the Coca-Cola factory to make our delivery. There it is. Coke is it.
In 400 meters, turn left. Turn left.
So I presume this is all because of mods.
You've arrived. It's been my honor and duty to see you through this mission.
All right. So we're now level 13. Industrial pallets delivered from San Diego to Abilene, 1,184 miles, 32 hours and 20 minutes, including our rest stop. Base reward, level 12, skill rank 6 for long distance delivery driver bonus. Just under $15,000 for 32 hours work and almost 2,382 XP. So job done. Gonna start adding to our hazmat. Alright, so on the next episode, we are going to go, actually we can go there now because we're not on a job. I think. Oh, I don't want to do that. So at the moment, the only driver I have is me. Relocate to San Diego. Wasn't too happy with that. Alright, so we won't do that right now. what we can do, now we're not on the road, we can quick travel back to San Diego. And now we are in our brand new truck. This is our brand new Kenworth that I purchased off camera. So I've got a number plate for me, number plate for Morgan Freeman, Morgan F. And that's our truck. Very, it's a sleeper. Haven't done many mods to it so far, haven't added many things to it, but that's basically our truck. Now, if we world map, we should be able to go now to Garage Manager, San Diego, travel to it. So here we are at our garage, and I'll do more on that next time. Is there a rest area around here? Oh, we can. Alright, so our first night in our own garage. We'll learn more about it and have a look in the daytime tomorrow. I've been Simulator Dirk. You've been wonderful. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
There are those who would like to see you fail in your journey. That's not going to happen on my watch. Let's go.
Can we stop for ice cream, Bart? Can we stop for ice cream? Oh, it's the Macks! The Portland Light Rail System, the Macks, and that's what it actually looks like. How sweet! Okay, end of May, June, July, and now we're into August, so...
That was the longest night of my life.